Okay, so I think I mentioned this conversation that I wanted to have with you a while ago, um, but you probably don't remember. So you have to be quick on your feet tonight. I'm not giving you any heads up. You ready to start the show?
Yeah, ready as I'll ever be.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to One Man and One Woman, the podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Tara Michelle.
Yeah, I'll stick with Flan. We'll be
Can I
Flan
ask you a real
tonight.
quick question? Why you always got to take a 30-second pause when you know full well it's gonna be your turn to say your name?
All right, I'm thinking about something.
Wow.
They'll be all right. They'll be all right.
Oh,
And you and the queen of hyperbole, people. 30 seconds. Yeah.
tonight's episode topic is talking intimacy. So I have a lot of people that I have conversations with, coworkers, associates, friends, family members, and this happens a lot, even on the different panels I've been on for various podcasts. There seems to be this disconnect between men and women and being able to be open and honest and vulnerable when it comes to talking about intimate things, whether we're talking about sexual fantasies, what we like, what we don't like. There is this fear of being open and honest with a person for, I guess, you don't want to be judged or ridiculed or, whatever plethora of reasons people could have. So, my question to you is, have you ever heard about this before? Have you ever been in a situation where you were kind of scared or unwilling to be open and honest at any point in a relationship regarding intimacy?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think what we have to do is be honest about this and that. Like fears, these fears don't come from nowhere. Like I think we sometimes look at a person that's in a situation that acts like and act like they have some trepidation behind being completely open and honest or vulnerable, with their mate or their spouse, and like we look at it as some sort of like flaw or something in them, but it doesn't come from nowhere. Like if they're afraid of judgment, it's probably because they've been judged. If they're afraid of abandonment, it's probably because they've been abandoned, and they've been abandoned in a situation that looks a lot like this. So like it's not just people afraid to do something. People are afraid to do something because people are in mass reacting a certain way to certain things. So yeah, I think if I'm talking about it from a male perspective, I think if there's a man out there who has some sort of squeamishness about broaching certain topics, with his woman or his partner or whoever it is that he's with, it's probably because of learned experience. And so we have to sometimes look at how do we embrace people who are vulnerable before we can expect people to just be vulnerable with us. Like how do we make a space safe enough for them to do that, because they've got that fear from somewhere.
Right. But if that fear didn't come from me and I'm not to blame for it, then two things. How do I know he has that fear? If he hasn't told me he has that fear? Because if I don't have a fear like that, then that's not even where my mind goes to. I'm not even recognizing that that's a thing. It's not because I don't want to, it's because I don't know. And how do I let him know that this is a safe space? I kind of find it interesting. And I'm guilty of this. Let me say that first. But when I think about it, if I take myself out of it, which is being totally hypocritical, I think about it and I go, why would you commit to be in a relationship with someone if there are still aspects in your life that you feel like you can't be open and honest with them about? Dating stages, okay. But if you've committed to this person, why would you commit to them if you still don't know if you can trust them with with the vulnerable side of you?
No, I mean you shouldn't. But then there may be spaces that you haven't talked about in so long that you don't remember that you don't talk about them, or you don't remember that it's a topic of conversation. I think to answer your question earlier, like how do you create the safe space? Um, and my experience has been, from people asking me questions, probing. If I'm not just offering up information because it's stuff that I don't necessarily like to talk about, like asking the question, maybe leading with whatever their experience is or whatever their thought is on the subject, and making it so like, hey, I'm undressing in front of you. It's okay for you to undress in front of me. But yeah, asking the questions, being interested, showing interest, and then like never passing judgment. Not having something to say about their opinion on XYZ, or not creating a space where they feel like if I say this and they don't like it, or if this is not interesting to them, if it's boring to them, if it's disgusting to them, like the look I'm gonna get back from that person, um, I think you create that by talking about your stuff, and then doing probing questions, and never passing judgments when you get those answers to those probing questions that you asked. Understand you asked for the information, so now like you can't look down on the person for telling you something you asked them. So
And
if you ask me, that's how you do it.
I agree. I think that's a beautiful description. I think that's how it happens most naturally with people. I will say too that I think a lot of work can also be done with self. So when I think about my biggest hangups, so I'm still a bit prudish sometimes, especially in the beginning of relationships. I remember being, when I was growing up, I was told that, ladies didn't, give head. That's not what they said, but we're going to try to keep it PC here. And, you know, um, nobody wears red lipstick, but women don't wear red lipstick. That's for prostitutes or for whores. So you all know, if you know me from my YouTube channel, I stay in a red lip because I finally was able to get over that. But that's something that was put into me as a young girl, as a child, that still plays with me though. Gotten over the red lipstick thing for the most part when I film because my subscribers like the look, but I rarely ever do that in real life. Like in real life, I'm not a makeup girl. But I also think it has a lot to do with that. Like I don't want to be around any of the older people in my family who used to tell me that, because I don't know if they still think that I feel that way or not. And I don't know why that would bother me at 43. But again, this is stuff that was instilled in me when I was a child. And so I kind of sort of feel like I'm supposed to be a good girl. Like in my head, even if I'm in a relationship or if I'm married, it doesn't give me, the place to just be a freak, so to speak. A little bit of me, or a lot of bit of me at the beginning of a relationship, is really just like, I need to be demure. I need to be a lady so that he'll respect me, and so that he'll know that I'm not going to just be another notch on his belt. He's not going to think he just going to hit it and quit it. Like those things still matter to me. I know you know, we're far and few between nowadays, because these girls out here racking up body counts more than the dudes and seem to be perfectly fine with it. I'm just not built that way. So for me, I am really shy at the beginning, and there's a lot that I don't want to talk about. There's fantasies that I have that I kind of, I to say them out loud might feel a little shamed, because I'm just like, is this too far? Is this too much? And once I get comfortable, and then those things will start to come out, because I don't like to be secretive. And I do like to go ahead and get it out there. So if there's anything about me you're not going to like, you don't want to stay around for, I haven't wasted too much time with you. But I do think it is one of the scariest things in the world to let someone into your mind when you're talking about intimate things. Some people like some real crazy stuff. And I guess you just don't want to be
You
judged.
think you can you hear something really crazy from your partner and not react?
I could try very, very hard. And I'll say that. I'll go, look, you say, baby, you got to promise not to get mad. Or you got to promise not to be scared. Or you got to promise not to judge me. I am going to try my best not to do any of those three things. But I want you to know, if I do react, it's in love. Because if I'm talking to my man and he tells me, like if I woke up tomorrow morning and he was like, baby, I just want to tell you about this fantasy of mine. I'm like, okay, cool. And then he gives me that. It's going to scare me when you give me that preference. Now, I don't want you to get mad. I don't want you to be scared. Da da da. Now I'm scared. I ain't gonna get mad because I don't know yet, but I'm apprehensive because it's like, why did you feel the need to say that? And then he goes, I really been wanting, I want you to peg me. Oh, now I'm mad because I know at the beginning of the conversations that we started having when we were, in the dating stage before we made this official. I know I done told you I don't do that, and I'm scared of a dude who would say that, because I'm feeling like it's not just women that you like. And I don't want to be with a bisexual male. I and I I don't subscribe to, oh, he's heterosexual, he just likes that. That's weird to me. So I'm judging, I'm mad, I'm scared, I'm ready to go. And I and so for me, my reaction is gonna be, look, we've been in this relationship for I don't know how long, and I do love you, but I told you off the rip I didn't play them type of games. So I'm gonna calm down because I need some time to take this all in. But 9 times out of 10, that relationship is over. So I just don't want to make you any promises that I can't keep.
I need to ask you this because I love when like episodes blend together and like stuff we talked about comes back some in another space and we get to have
Here we
further
go.
conversation about it. So I just because I want to know this for myself and for the dudes listening, like how what is the difference between a no that's a no that like I told you I wasn't about that, and you know you should probably never bring this up again, or we not gonna be together, or no that's a well if you ask me later I might say that was then this is
The
now.
difference is the
Is
difference is
there a
how I tell
way?
you. I am telling you I will never be down with any anal play. Not on me and not on you. I say that at the beginning. That's first date conversation to me because that is something that is really, really huge with nasty people. I'm sorry, with people who get down like that. I'm gonna call them nasty, but I don't play them type of games. So for me, I want to tell you up front. Do you know I have talked to many males on podcast panels and in real life, and a lot of them are out here talking about anal is their favorite. Like if they had to choose one thing, it would either be head or anal. The vagina is just obsolete at this point for a whole lot of people. So when you know the population is out here wilding like that, you have got to come out the gate and go, just so you know, this is something I do not do. I don't play these type of games. And if he goes, oh, that's my favorite, y'all can go Dutch. Y'all can sit there and have a conversation if you want to. Go Dutch and never have to deal with each other again. Cause I'm not changing. I done made it all the way to 43 and been consistent on that one. I don't play them type of games. And I don't want to yeah, I do not want a man handle my man like that. I love power. You put me in that position, and I'm probably gonna mess that man up. He'll never be the same again. I'm gonna find the biggest strap on I can, and I'm a boy.
Yeah,
Let me say,
I
see,
feels like somebody need to pull up because this is not turning into a show. I think our fans want to listen to right now.
I
I
would
don't want to
never
listen to
want
it.
to do that. Is what I'm saying. I don't know how I look at you like my man again. Like you now, you know what I'm saying? B word. Cause I didn't
I'm
just
just saying,
dirty work that boom
if
boom.
you do need to, that's an intimate conversation that you need to have with somebody. Like if we doing this whole no doesn't always mean no, but then how do I know when the no does mean
When
no?
I
So I
tell
know
you
not
that
to
it's a definite
cross
no,
that
it's
no.
never going to happen. And I say those words. I say those words, those exact words. And you trying to play with me now because of the other episode that
Now
we did.
I'm trying to make sure I understand the difference. I'm trying to make sure I
Well,
and
you can
everyone
bring
else
look, if you
understands
bring
the
it up to
difference.
me, if I've already told you at the beginning of the relationship that that was a no-go for me, and then I'm gonna make you tell me that you're okay with that. So I'm going to see that's a definite conversation. It's going to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. So if you bring it up again, as a matter of fact, let me change that. If we're talking at the beginning of dating, 100%, if we're talking at the beginning of dating and you tell me you want to be pegged, we're not going to be dating after that. So this continuation of a conversation will never get a chance to happen. The moment I found out you like butt play, even if you want a girl to eat toss your salad,
What if he didn't? What if he didn't at the time you asked him when y'all had the initial conversation? And as people grow and change over time, he grew and changed into this different person. And now he wants to address who he is
I
today.
respect that, and I'm so thankful, and love him so much for being honest and coming to tell me that, and I hope he finds what he's looking for elsewhere. There are some things for me that are deal breakers, and people grow apart, and that's fine. But if I love a person, I don't want to deny them something that they want, but I'm also never doing anything for someone that I don't want, that makes me uncomfortable, that I feel is immoral or anything else. Because I love you don't mean I have to go rob this bank with you because you lost your job. Because I love you don't mean I'm gonna let you beat me because you like beating women. And no. So if you have grown into someone who needs to do something that I cannot provide for you, I'm not willing to, and I refuse to, then rather than pigeonhole you, because eventually you're gonna get tired of waiting on me to say yes. And then you're gonna start to resent me. And then you're gonna start to go other places to get what you're looking for. And that does not serve our relationship at all. So let's just call it quits right then and there.
So let me ask you this: with that understanding of how you look at it, if you we're in the flip side situation and woke up one day and realized there was something in life you feel like you had missed out on, and that you really had this urge to go seek this thing out, but this is something that your partner had told you, nah, I don't play them games. What are you doing? Are you saying something, or
Absolutely.
you going to
Okay.
stay quiet?
Honesty is the best policy. And when we're talking intimacy, you as you change and you grow and you become curious about whatever it is, you gotta stay consistent with that honesty. Yes, I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say, baby, I know we had this conversation a long time ago about this. It's been 10 years. My curiosity has gotten stronger, or I now feel like this is what I want to do. Where do you stand on it? Because they may have changed too. You know what I'm saying? And if they haven't, say, okay, well, this is something that I need. So we might need to, figure out. And you compromise and you tell me, yeah, we could try it once to see if you can come on board too. Because hell, I might try it out one time and not like it. And this is a moot point. But I'm going to be honest because I feel like life is too short to be denying yourself the things that you really want. And if you're with someone who cannot give you what you really want, then that person may have just been meant to be in your life for a reason or a season. They may not be a lifetime person. And that's okay. We have got to stop hiding who we are and hiding what we want and what we need for fear of losing somebody. If that person cannot give you what you want or need, you should go and find somebody who can. That is okay. Why do people get so attached in these relationships that they feel like
Because that's what a relationship. There is a thing called
I can
commitment,
understand that in marriage,
and
but
when
not a
you
relationship.
committed to someone, they may change, and the relationship is supposed to evolve. It's not supposed to
But
be
it
up.
can't
We
be
two
stuff
different
that you
people. When
find
what
to
we
be
started this
immoral.
thing, we we up out here. It don't mean that you have to do it, but y'all might. There is a further conversation to be had. There is not a, oh, you changed and I changed and our changes don't match up with each other. So I guess we was just for a season. Holla at you. Like, it's a
There are
further
some things that
conversation.
do cause that for me. Butt play is one of them. If you are a dude and you want me to throw on the strap on and give it to you good, I, I, I
I,
would be
I
willing
don't.
to do that for you, but we have
It's
to break
it's
up first.
amazing how I keep veering away from this thing and you just go right back to it every time. I don't know how we keep
Okay,
having this conversation.
okay. If you the type of person you think you want to be poly, that's what you feel like is good for your life. Okay, well you go and find as many people who are willing to share you as possible. There are multiple things. You wake up one day and decide that you think you want to be a serial killer. I'm calling the cops. So it's just, it depends. But some things are deal breakers. You try to have these conversations during the dating stage, but like you said, people change. You get with somebody, y'all together 20 years, they're not going to be the same person they were when you were dating. But I'm not afraid to leave someone if we don't work anymore. I've been through so much in my life that I cannot continuously be unhappy. When something is going wrong in my relationship, and I'm not talking about I can't get mad at him or we can't argue or we can't, maybe be off or rocky for a week or two. I still think that's too long. But if we are like, we looking at the last 5 years of our relationship and we can't remember the last time we laughed together or touched each other or wanted to, man, I'm out.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. But the whole idea of just like they changed and we had a conversation about it, and I don't like your answer this time around. So
It's got to be
peace
deeper
out.
than that. But I'm serious though. There are certain things where I'm out. If you tell me, like I said, I already gave the biggest example. No is going to always be the answer. But if you are craving it and it's something you need to have, I don't want to deny you that. That's not my place. But you're not gonna go out here and get pegged by no other chick and come back to me. What we doing? And I just feel like I don't want to hold you back from what you need and what you want in your life. It's not fair. The same way I don't want you trying to
Okay.
pressure me to do something that's going to make me feel dirty and wrong, and anything else. So whatever the subject is, that doesn't mean you don't talk about it though. You do not hide who you are
I said,
and hide your wants and desires from the person that you with from fear of how they're going to react. Get it out in the open to see. You might be tripping. They might be they might have been thinking the
let me
same
ask
thing
you
and be
this one.
like, yeah, let's do it.
Let me ask you this one. Let's say again you change over the years and you wake up one morning and now you desire something that to you don't think your partner can provide. Do you express that?
Yes. I will never be against honesty as the best policy because you got to give them a chance to try, or you got to see if they want to. If you're talking to your partner and you say, I've been wanting this for a long time. We've had this conversation for a long time and you're just not getting it. I'm not getting it. And my desire and need for it is growing. It's not diminishing. And I'm starting to wonder if you're capable of giving this to me. You have that conversation. They may not be. And then you have to choose, can I deal with not having this? What matters more, this relationship or this thing that I need? And you got to make that decision for yourself. I used to think that I needed a lot of different things in relationships as I've grown over the years. And then I got with somebody who showed me that what I thought I needed because I had that somewhere else, he could provide a better version in a totally different way. So you have to try the thing. It could be a thing that you think you need, and somebody might be able to get you some semblance of that or get you to the end result of what you were looking for, just in a way you never had before. But if you've tried everything and you've talked about everything and it's something that you need, that's the conversation you have to have. Are you ready to leave that person for that thing? And if it's that important for you, so be it. It's your life.
So be it.
And I don't want to seem like I'm somebody who just doesn't believe in long-term relationships. I don't believe in being miserable in relationships, being unhappy in this life. We don't know what happens after this life. Some people believe in heaven and hell. Some people believe in reincarnation. Some people think you go into purgatory. I don't know. But what I do know is while you have this life, you need to be as happy as you can and make as many memories as you can so that you live in infamy throughout your bloodline. You know what I'm saying? I do not have time. I'm just not staying with somebody if I'm not happy with them.
Yeah, I get that. I just, I think the example you gave earlier was like 5 years down the road, you guys haven't laughed at, was laugh with each other or touch each other. Yeah, that's a long time. That's enough time to test a commitment. I just think a lot of people are this was so much fun in the beginning, and now all of a sudden like we plateau and it's not as fun anymore. And I'm not happy. I want fun back, and it's just like that may be the time to try to work on a relationship. That's not the time to just like, I'm not
Oh,
happy.
I agree with you.
I don't believe in not
You
being
know, I
happy.
agree.
So
I
I'm
mean,
out.
when you're genuinely unhappy.
Relationships are not always
See,
happy.
yeah, no, I don't know anyone who's been married for any length of time and they've been happy with each other every single day. See, that's what people's problem is. I'm not talking about the fleeting moment or the fleeting feeling of happiness. I'm talking about joy. If I have joy with this person, we're going to be mad sometimes, sad sometimes, happy sometimes, whatever. But if I don't have any joy in this relationship with you anymore. Like we've been together long enough to where I know you don't make me happy, I don't make you happy. And I don't you already have to be happy yourself, but you don't add any happiness to me and I don't add it to you. And we've talked about it, we've noticed it, and we can't find our way back. Enough is enough. I believe that if you love a person, you always fight for it. Because there could be small changes that can be made that can just make it so much better. I will put in the work. I will put in the work until I feel like it's just too much. If I feel like you want me to change everything about me, it's not me that you want. You want to mold me into what you want, and I'm out. But that's the adventure of a relationship. I think that is the best thing in the world. And maybe sometimes when it comes to speaking in intimacy, you don't want to unveil everything at once. Sometimes you want to leave a little spice to the relationship. There's still a little something that's mysterious, but I don't believe in being unhappy and just this for the sake of comfort. Oh, we've been together for so long. We've built this together for so long. We're going to stay for the kids. No, no, because then you're teaching your kids to be miserable in a relationship. Who wants that?
It's a decision to make. I know you and I have had conversations away from the show where just like when you're into it, with your significant other, and they've done something today that pissed you off, like it's very difficult to remember like everything else that they do that adds to the happiness in your life. Like right now, you're just in this moment where they suck, and that's all you can see
And
is
you
that
have to
they
train
suck. They
yourself
did it. They did
to
it
think about
again.
the other things.
And so for me, sometimes being in a commitment means I'm here today. I'm here because I told you I would be. It's not because you just fill my life with joy and I just want to be around you. Today I'm here because I'm honoring my commitment, and and during this time I'm looking to reconnect with those things that made me feel that way about you. But if I told you I would be here, I have to push through this moment because I know it's just a moment, or it might just be a moment. Let's see if this is just a moment or if this is something
But
more.
how long do you do that?
That's a personal thing. It's a personal conversation you have to have with yourself when you've done it all, when you've tried it all, and you can walk away saying you left it all on the field. Then
Because there are people who will stay in a relationship when they're miserable just because they told somebody they were.
because that's to me that's a huge thing. You know what is it? What's the typical masculine saying? All I got is my balls and my word.
But you were
Like that's
saying
it.
what
If
you
I
felt
tell
in that
you,
moment to that person that you
yeah,
knew.
yeah, but
What
it,
if they have morphed
yeah,
into
and what you
what if
say,
they have morphed into the polar opposite of who you said that to? Now they hate you, they hate kids, they want 10 cats when y'all always had dogs. Like, what if they are not any iota of what they used to be when you met them? You didn't say that to that person. You told the person they were 20 years ago you'd always be there. This new raggedy female, you didn't have that promise with her. So
it don't always work like that. It don't always work like that. Yes, people are going to change, and you can't say I don't have to honor my commitment because you're not the same person I made the commitment to. Like, no, you made the commitment. Words, choices are life changing and long lasting. You don't get to make a choice today and then say because the circumstances have changed, I automatically get out of that choice.
yes,
Like,
you do.
ask people. You don't ask people in prison. Like, you know what I'm
Well,
saying? You
nah,
you
if you
can
if
do
you
something
yeah,
wrong,
but this
you
is
can
a
feel
relationship, not
remorse, and
jail.
you can have give a whole lot. I
The
understand.
fact that you
And so
just compared the
while
relationship to
while
prison,
logistically it can feel like that sometimes. While logistically they're not the same thing. It's like sometimes when you make a commitment, when you say certain things to people, when you've allowed them to make changes in their life that they would not have made had they not believed that you were going to be there through all of this, then you got to honor that
well,
to
that's
a certain level,
beautiful.
and that means trying. That means trying until you run out of things. It doesn't mean you got to stay forever, but when you watch some of these movies and you ask an old couple how they stayed together for 50 years, and it's because we didn't separate. Like, it's not because we didn't not like each other, or we didn't have hard times, or it wasn't bad sometimes, or that we were always happy. It's just the idea of leaving was not on the table.
I mean, that's beautiful. I've been through too much for that. And I don't mean to make it seem like anything would make me leave and I won't stay for the long haul, because I have proven in my life that I can stay until I just can't. But I don't ever want to promise somebody forever when I don't know who I'm going to be in 50 years. I don't know who they're going to be. I will promise to always give you my all and to always try to be understanding and compromise and build this thing, because I do want forever. But like I said, if you wake up in 40 years and decide you want to start killing cats, or you wake up in 40 years and you decide that you want to go be a monk in some mountain, I, even though those examples are wild and crazy, there are a plethora of things that you could do that could be against my religion or against my code as a woman or as a human being or as a mom, and I'm just not going for it. I'm not doing it. So I can't promise you forever under any circumstances, like, or all circumstances. I just can't. I can promise to be there until you make me leave.
Heavy statement.
I mean, again, because I'm not going anywhere if we're just having tough times. We're gonna grow past that. But if you wake up again and you want me to peg you, I gotta go. Like, there's just some things I'm not doing. Or if
This
you
is
wake
this
up
is
and
really
you
on
want,
your mind. This is just
because
really
I'm
you
trying to
can't
give
let it
you the
go.
most extreme thing, but that is happening. These men are out here requesting this left and right. These girls are talking about it on these podcasts. So since it's something that really is happening, I want to make it perfectly clear, even though I know I would never be in this situation. That is something that could happen in these days and times, to have a woman go, yeah, I'm out, because I didn't sign up for this. Nothing about that is manly to me. I can't do that to you and still want to be with you. So there is something that could cause a relationship to end up staying with you if that's what you into. Because I think one day you're gonna wake up and you're gonna want the real thing in there. And I don't have one of them. So I'm not doing it. But back to the talking about intimacy, just having this conversation like we just did, I fully understand why people sometimes are scared to open up. But why waste the time? Why hide who you are, what you need, what you like, what you're curious about from this person. If they're not going to give it to you, then you can take the time to say, okay, well, I choose them, and start eradicating those things from your mind. Start getting rid of them, or saying, I want to be with somebody who's a little bit more open minded. I want somebody who's gonna try things with me and not just say no first. At least try it and give it a chance. Be open minded. You have that right. Always be honest. Talk about it. And at the same time, um, you're gonna have to bite back some fears. You're gonna have to fight back. Here's the thing for me: when I'm super super shy about something, I will text it. I'll be like, hey, I wanna share something with you, but I cannot do this over the phone. I cannot do it in person. And I'm gonna text it. Whatever buffer I need to help me get it out there, and then I turn my phone off for an hour. I'm that girl. I just really get super emotional and sometimes super anxious when I'm telling somebody something from the deepest, darkest recesses of this mind of mine, this heart of mine. But I know I have to push through it if I ever want you to fully know who I am. So when talking intimately about my deepest, darkest desires, wishes, and fantasies, however I got to get it out is how I get it out.
And I think a lot of people you have to be that thing that you want. I think sometimes we are afraid to have these conversations with other people because we know how we would react to people having these conversations with us. So we are already putting on them the way we would react, or the way we know we're not tolerant of certain things. So now we have a fear that other people are just like us. So yeah, like I say, if you create the space for other people, you'll find the spaces for yourself.
Yeah, I can agree with that. It's still nerve wracking, though. It is a scary thing to open up.
Yeah. Rub some dirt on it, it'll be
It's
all
a
right.
scary thing to open up to someone and just give them everything. And every time you tell them one more thing about you, and I think that men think this because I've heard this a lot from men, again, in the podcast community, that a lot of men don't share with us as women because they fear that the first time we get mad, we're going to throw it back in their face. So when,
Yeah,
when talking intimacy, you also need to pay attention to signs like that. If you know you're with someone who's going to get mad and talk reckless to you, you shouldn't be with them, first of all. But I guess that will be a reason for you to hide some parts of yourself from them. But I say this all the time on every show almost when we're talking about stuff like this. I am the type of person that wants to get it all out in the first couple of dates, if not the first date. I want you to know every single thing about me that I think could possibly cause you to go, yeah, nah, I'm cool. Because I don't want to waste all the money and all the time and all the effort if it can't go anywhere.
that's the way to look at it.
Other people say, no, I want to wait. I want to woo her. I want to woo him. I want to get them in love with me. So for the first 1 or 2 years, I'm just going to be this person that they want me to be. And then year 3, 4, 5, or after we're married or after we have kids, then I'm going to let them know what it really is. That's despicable. Hiding yourself and hiding things about yourself deliberately to keep a person interested is never going to be cool. And now you're untrustworthy.
I agree with that. I do agree with that. But yeah, you've got to make it a safe space. A lot of people have these fears for a reason.
What is the scariest thing for you to talk about when dating or getting to know someone when it comes to intimacy? What subject matter is just nerve wracking for you to even think about?
I don't know. I am not the. Don't ask me what I'm gonna do to you. Like just don't. Like just
Don't ask you.
you
Don't
find out
ask
when we
you what
get
you're going
there.
to do to her.
Yeah, right. What I'm going to like I got to give you a play by play of every move I'm
I
gonna make. Before that,
love
don't.
that. Describe our first time to me. And you don't even have to, it doesn't have to actually happen in real life. You don't have to adhere to it. But I love a person to give me a fantasy in my head now. Yes, I love that. But I'm also a creative writer, so that makes sense. Um, I think the hardest conversation for me to have in terms of being intimate with the man is the submissive part in me. I think most men who meet me see me as an alpha female, or whatever term we're using for a woman who is very bold, very headstrong, handles her business, stands on business, all those things. So when I'm real soft and pink and quiet and shy in that arena, it's always like wait a minute, who is she? I've had that. You're a totally different person in that realm. Like I didn't expect that you had that side. I've heard that in my life, even with people who I haven't been intimate with. When I just describe that, like if we're having conversations, I'm like, I'm more like this. They're like, no, no, you're not. There's no way you're like that. I am. It's almost like I'm two totally different people. But sometimes I almost feel like some creeps will want to take advantage of that and take it the wrong way. They're not hearing what I'm saying. And then other times it's just like, wow, I just gave you that bit of information about me that I hold near and dear to me. I just feel like every bit of information you give a person about you gives them a little bit more power to abuse, should they so choose. So the freak out for me is just the sharing part in general, or some of my fantasies and the things that I think about, because they can get real wild, like things I don't even want to have happen in real life. But if I'm thinking about it in my head, turn me on to levels that I'm not really sure I've ever experienced in real life. Like, it's that crazy because our mind is that powerful. So, I don't know. When you give somebody your deepest and your darkest, that's different.
It's different.
It is. Well, this conversation was interesting. I think the most important thing that I learned today is just how much I'm not putting up with.
So all you hear from women, I ain't doing this, I ain't doing, I ain't putting up with
It's
this.
good to know that it's not just women who fear talking about these things. It's men. And you hit the nail on the head when you talked about it. A lot of this comes from traumas. Mine was telling me what women are supposed to do, and what prostitutes do. A lot of the stuff that I do is probably considered what prostitutes do. I don't know, at this point. That was a different time then. But also too, just, the fear of rejection, the fear of being judged, all of those things. I would wish that we would be in a place where we wouldn't have any of those fears inside of our relationship, inside of our marriage. Like, I just almost feel like I would understand the fears of talking about intimate things when you're just dating. But I would think, if you've made someone yours, if you guys have said we are committed, we're in a relationship, we're dating with a purpose, the goal is to end up in marriage. What is the fear that you're going to lose them? Like, I just feel like you should feel way more open, even if it's you got to text it, even if you're still a little nervous. I just feel like there should just be something different between the dating stage and that we're in a relationship now that should make you feel safe for opening up, unless you're just not really getting to know that person. Like,
Does it work that way for you? When you cross that threshold of in a relationship, does it go away?
no, the nerves doesn't, like, I'm still nervous, but I'm doing it. Like, I have never in my current relationship, I've never thought about anything about me and said, when I tell him this, he gonna walk. Ever. I thought about some of those things at the beginning and told him anyway, though. I pushed through things like that. But for me, I feel safe to come and say anything. And even sometimes when I'm scared and then I finally text it to him or I say it to him or whatever, he's like, okay, we can address that, or we can talk about that, or we can do that. Like, he seems to be very gung ho about anything that I say because I'm not trying to peg him. So when you come with things that are rational, and you know the person that you're with, and it's not something that's going to go against their moral code or their moral compass, then I think you should feel safe in that. And I do.
I'm, I'm, I'm glad you cleared that up for the people because I was sitting over here like I don't know what this dude is into, but she is stuck on pegging today. What conversation
Well,
have they
it's
had
because it's
recently?
everywhere. I can't see a reel from TikTok. And I'm not on TikTok, but the stupid things come through Instagram and come through Facebook. I can't. And we both know people, females, who want to do that. One of them wants to do it to her man, and the other one wants to do it to a man, but he can't be her man because, again, she admits she won't respect him after that. So, because the conversation is just so prevalent, that is the biggest thing that I could come in and give you an example of what would make me leave. I'm not leaving over the small stuff. I'm not leaving over anything where compromise can be met. But I'm not compromising on that. So that's why I chose that. And no, I've never had a man ask, well, that's not true. I've never had a man that I was with ask me that. But I did have somebody ask me that as a friend, if I would. And the answer was no then too.
Yeah, see, I somehow we keep coming back, but Sorry.
I'll say to the people out there who are listening, if you are with someone and you feel like you can't be honest and be yourself with them, you might want to rethink that relationship. Before you decide to leave, tell them anyway. Tell them everything. You have to give a person the chance to show you who they really are, if they really love you, if they're really understanding, and what makes or breaks things for them. And that's how you learn and you grow. I don't ever want anyone to interpret what I was talking about tonight as in I am the type of person where the first thing that goes wrong, I'm out. No, but I will not stay with someone where I have no joy. I'm not happy with them. They're not happy with me just because I told them I loved them once and because I told them I'd be there once. Shit happens and things change. I believe in staying for the long haul. And I think that the current relationship I'm in now is the last relationship I'll be in. I think he and I are going to go all the way. But that's also too because I know foundationally who we are and what we stand for. As long as neither one of us jumps off a cliff, off the crazy train, or anything like that, we'll be fine. But there are things that can break me. I have to be honest.
Honesty is the best policy.
Always. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening to us again. I hope to hear a lot of feedback about this conversation too. My question to anyone who is listening is, have you ever been too afraid to talk to your mate, to your partner about your intimate desires? Those things you like, those things you don't. Oh, you know what? Let me, before we end it real quick, let's talk about that. In intimate spaces, who do you think is worse, men or women, when it comes to constructive criticism? Let's speak specifically to oral sex. Do you think a man gets more upset about a woman saying, "Hey, I don't like it like this. Could you do it like this? I prefer this." Or do you think a woman would be more upset if a dude said, "Hey, nah, what you doing? That ain't it. Let me tell you something."
100% women. Not even close. Not even close. All we get is criticism. It's part of the deal. Harder, faster. That's all the fuck we get. Sorry, Sean. I almost made it. I almost made it through the whole show. Damn. But that's all we get. No, if we say anything, you better act like that's the best head you ever got if you're trying to get it again. You say
But if
anything
it was
about that,
terrible, why
it'll
would you
never
want to get
happen
it
again.
again? If you did not like it,
Because you just gonna have to over exaggerate when she do the one thing that you do like, and then see if she can, like, you just gonna have to spend some time putting in some work, crafting this to where you, but don't you do it.
see that
Don't
now.
do it.
Now let's go back to
Don't you
don't
critique.
fellas, don't listen to him. Don't take that advice. That's terrible
Women
advice.
cannot handle criticism. It's been evident on this show. It's been evident anywhere you go. Women cannot handle
First of all,
criticism. I'm sorry.
you can't give criticism on perfection, baby, and that's would be I. So what are we talking about?
Exactly. See, this proof positive.
No, but
She thought she was doing her thing. She learned that straight off of Pornhub and brought it straight to you. You better act. You better show appreciation and figure out some
see,
manipulative
but that's
mind
not
tricks to
fair though,
use to
because
get
we
her.
as women talk about that. The dudes also bring what they got straight from Pornhub, and we don't want it. That is not what I'm not looking for anything that Wesley Pipes is
But
offering
y'all
somebody.
get to say something. Y'all
But
get to
men should
say
be able to
something.
say
Y'all get
something
to as
too.
long
And if
as because it is a privilege for a man to be able to perform whatever act he performs on you. It's a privilege for us to have
oh
access
wow.
to these things. Women do not view that as a privilege to have access to us in that way. So if we critique them and they decide, I don't ever want to deal with having to feel inadequate in that situation ever again, that's exactly what they do.
Okay, but
We
should you
have to deal
want
with
to
that
be with a
every
woman
day.
who can't handle you being honest with her and who isn't receptive to you making her better?
I have to choose. I have to choose whether I want to be with a woman or if I don't want to be. Like I don't think such a woman exists.
So you think that if you were talking to your significant other and you told her,
Yes.
"Hey, I like what you're doing, but I prefer this," that she would spaz out?
I tell you, my strategy has always been the same. We talked about this at times on the show. Positive reinforcement. I will give no energy to the behavior that I don't like. I will give all my energy to the behavior that I do like. So I will let you know I love when you do this, and I love when you do that. I ain't gonna ever address any of that. I ain't gonna ever mention it.
So if she start using teeth and that is something that you do not enjoy, you just gonna rock it out.
I'm just gonna talk about how great her lips felt and keep accentuating the lips part of it. Tongue, lips, throat. I ain't gonna mention the teeth.
Oh, you know
It's a
what? That is a
strategy.
beautiful strategy, and that is outrageous. I've never heard. You're so freaking funny. Um, I think women, I'm going to speak to the women on this one. If this is true, if this is you, you got to stop that. Because, see, you should want to be the best at it, and you should want to be the best at it with who you're with. This is not about being the top throat go in the whole city, because you shouldn't even be doing all of that. But if you're with somebody and you're being intimate, this is what's crazy to me, especially for you people who are not using protection anymore. This person is inside of you, literally as close as you can get, other than the ones you carry if you're giving birth. um and y'all can't have honest conversations about what each other likes and doesn't like. That makes zero sense to me. You're trusting this person with your life, literally, but y'all can't have a conversation about likes, dislikes, needs, wants, desires. That makes no sense to me. Delivery matters. Your delivery, if you're just doing positive reinforcement, has got to be like stellar, but the girl has to have the sense God gave her. If she's not putting those context clues together, then she's still going to keep doing what she's doing. So you might still need to say, hey, do you notice that I always say this is
Hey,
what I really
so
like?
hey, all right. So then I'm leaving because you're slow, not because your head is whack. Like that's is a different reason.
Oh, and just
Different
when we
reason.
thought you were the nice guy, here you go. I'm glad you finally showing the people who you really
I'm
are.
saying, I'm trying to. If I, anytime you lay down with a person, pregnancy can occur. If I'm a risk adding another human being to the world, I'd rather it be a fairly
Oh
intelligent one.
my
I don't
goodness.
want to
You,
procreate with just.
and on that note, so we're going to go back to ending the show, which is what we were doing before I got to talk about, you know, because that is a really good, that's a really big part of intimate conversations. If you can be honest, if I can tell you, hey, whatever it is you thought you was down there doing, that wasn't it. I'm used to this, that, and the third, which could also lead to some complications, because I
Yeah,
think
that
that
tip for the ladies: don't ever use the words "I'm used
since
to."
I was getting ready to say that can lead to a problem. Why do men get by? Listen, did you think she was a virgin when you got with her?
Don't tell me about how somebody else used to
I ain't
have
gotta
sex
say
with you.
his
Don't
name.
don't do
I
that.
ain't gotta holler who it
It
was.
don't matter if you say I'm used to what you told me is that the other dude, the dude you really like, or the dude that really did it the way you like it, he did it this way. So now you be this dude. Don't tell me to be another dude.
I clearly
Just tell
don't
me
like
what it
him
is you
enough
don't
because
like.
I'm here with you now. So why would that be?
But now you're trying to turn me into him. So like just tell me what it is you like.
Well,
Tell me
where are
what you
you
want me to
thinking
do.
I got it from?
Tell me what you don't want to
So if I
do.
come, so
Don't tell. Let that be a mystery to
oh
me. Let me have to wonder
my
about that for the rest of my life.
god.
The moment you use the words "I'm used to,"
See, y'all
you
dudes be
have
having
solved the
issues. I
crime.
be feeling so sorry for all these
Yeah,
women that's got to deal with people like, yeah,
y'all don't understand the value of mystery. Stop telling us that we don't
I'm
need to
not
know
telling you who.
everything. Let
Look,
us.
it's you. This is the first time I've ever heard a dude say something like this. You are definitely one of a kind. If you say, I'm used to, it's because you know full well I ain't no virgin. I'm coming to you and I'm saying,
But
hey,
if you giving me head and I'm telling you this ain't the way that I'm used to it being done, that's not going to go over well, TM.
well, you please, Jesus, don't tell her that why she's doing that to you. But what I'm saying is, after the fact, especially because we women, we like to be like, how was it? Or did you like it? Or, I will walk into that and say, explain, but I do it beforehand too. If we doing anything, I'm like, what's your favorite position? What positions do you not like? Anything, into I like to
Right.
have all this
And if you
conversation.
ask me my favorite position, right? If you ask me my favorite position, the only way I can answer that, only way I can have a favorite position is because I've been in this position before.
Exactly. That doesn't
So
bother
when
me.
I
I
answer the
don't
question,
want a virgin.
if I say the words, if we finish
I
doing
know he
something
just
where
started
I'm
yelling at
used to
people
when a
over me.
girl
Did
is
y'all hear
riding
this
me,
foolishness? Like getting louder was gonna do something. I can get loud too.
I, I you know
I
what?
just don't play with words like that. I don't
I give the
care.
energy that I get.
If you say, well, what I like is, that's the same as saying what I'm used to. Because
Right.
how do I know you like
So
it?
what
Clearly it
I'm
was done before. Like, why are we tripping off of something like that? That is nonsense.
no, because what I'm saying in the moment is what I like is for you not to say I used to, and you just can't. That's not. You can't take that. You can't grasp
I
that.
mean, I feel it, and that's just something that your person is gonna have to remember in her brain. That's how you train people. I get it. You gotta make sure that they know the boundaries. But if someone says the only way I've ever had this done before is this, so this is what I like. I don't know anything else. Well, am I at liberty to try some new things? Like, you don't have to just stay stuck in a box because you think you know what you had before, and that might be great. I might be able to provide something for you never had before, and you might love it. So don't close yourself off just because of what you're used to or what you've had before. Be open to letting the person explore. But I don't know. Like I said, that's another part of intimacy when people get a little nervous about being able to say, because I'm not going to lay there and let you lick me like Clifford the Big Red Dog. If I don't like what you're doing, I am going to guide you. I'm not going to go, ew, get the fuck off me. But I will say, hey, try this. Or I like this. You know, ladies, just don't say you used to.
And men
What I'm used to is,
because they want to be able to do it again, are going to listen to that and are going to adjust accordingly. Women are not. You know.
so you just speak for all women? You just know we all are like this?
Yeah, I've done the studies. I've done the research
Okay, guys. As usual, like I said, thank
in
you
the
so
field.
much for listening to us. We will be back with a new episode next week. In the meantime, between time, be good to yourself and be kind to others. Holla.
Holla.